shortly. Hello and welcome to GameSpace. This time we are joined by Charles from Nifty Island. Just before we do the full introductions, just want to say welcome to GameSpace, your weekly online destination where Web3 gaming world comes alive. Each week we bring together the brightest minds, builders and innovative creators from the blockchain gaming sector. We explore the latest trends, share cutting edge ideas and connect with vibrant communities dedicated to redefining the future of gaming. Join us every week at GameSpace and be at the forefront of the gaming revolution. Talking of being at the forefront of the gaming revolution, we have Charles from Nifty Island joining us. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a minute. A lot has changed since we last chatted, so it's great to be back.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, and of course we've got Meta Mike joining us as well. How are you doing?
Doing all right, guys. Doing all right. I'm trying to test out a little web-based virtual world called Diverso, and a little bit of VTubing in here, testing it out. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Awesome. Now, Charles, I know we've only got you for a short little bit of time today, so I'm excited to kind of jump right in and get going on this. But Nifty Island has been making some big waves in the space. You had a massive public launch of the game. You've been getting communities in from left, right, and center. Talk us through that journey. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been working on the game for a long time. It's a little over 2.5 years now. And when we started it, we kind of had this sort of dual thesis, which was on the one hand that NFT communities need much more to do together, that right now they're limited to what they can do together on X, Discord, OpenSea, and Blur, and that these communities need new canvases, new ways of playing and doing stuff that reflects the behavior they already want to engage in. They want to play, they want to hang out, they want to win prizes, they want to propagate the IP that they're passionate about. So that was kind of one, was like, okay, there needs to be a platform for all these communities. And we're really bullish on that as a consumer form factor for crypto. We think these deep online communities have kind of always been what crypto's been about. So we really like those. So that's the one, build the gaming layer for NFTs. The second kind of push for us has always been build a new type of user-generated content game world, one where everyone can make their own stuff, where it's way easier to get involved and more rewarding to get involved. So it's sort of a more, TikTok to Roblox's YouTube, something easier where anyone can just get in and make some content in a pretty simple way, share it on social media, make it more viral. So those are kind of the two big things we've been trying to do. And then the journey from there has been just like a hell of a lot of grinding to build that out, working really closely with a bunch of great NFT projects to understand what they actually want, like what experience do they want to play together? Because I think this Web3 gaming category, the biggest difficulty with it is no one knows who the user is. And I think we're starting to really figure that out, which is great. And to us, it's these deep online communities want to play. We've tried to make a game that reflects the way they want to play. So it was a lot of that. And then, we rolled out the game, our trailer, the Play to Airdrop campaign. And now there's a few thousand people playing Nifty every day, which is great. We're putting out fires, fixing stuff, adding features, and getting ready for the next push. So each wave of the airdrop is going to be broader, more interesting. It's going to draw in more users. And so this first one was kind of intentionally kind of conservative in terms of who it gave eligibility to and was sort of restrictive so that we could put out all the fires we knew would come with launching the game. And so now we're just really grinding to get ready for the next wave. That's where we're at.
Awesome. Sounds good. And what was your kind of strategy behind onboarding all of these communities? And I guess I'd be quite interested on a technical level, how you got all of these kind of 2D PFP collections and turn them into 3D in-game characters.
Yeah. So in terms of how, the way that looks. So for us, it starts with the fact that we think that NFT communities really are like a lasting thing. They're not we think they're going to be around as long as crypto's around. And we think they're the most interesting thing that you can buy on chain right now. Like buying a Bored Ape, a Pudgy Penguin, a Sappy Seal, a Forgotten Rune. The blockchain is the only place you can buy that thing. And so if you're excited about being part of a deep online community and using the internet in a new kind of way, NFT projects really are the only thing on offer. And so we really like them. And so we bet really deeply on them. And so the strategy, I guess, in a lot of ways is that NFT communities really do get people excited about stuff that's on chain. They have a remarkable amount of engagement on Twitter, Discord. People really like them. You look at the space now and it's like trying to get attention towards a DeFi project pretty hard. NFT communities are just built to garner attention. They do a great job. So we looked at that and said, here's the groups who are really good at certain things, getting people excited about on-chain stuff, but it's really expensive and hard to build a game. And so we thought, can we add value to all of them and make it such that we think that now, if you're an NFT project and say it's day one, you just minted, in the year 2024, you have more utility than the best project had in 2021 because there's now more open platforms that you can leverage, like Nifty Island. So that's sort of the overall view. And then, yeah, I think like deeply working with them, having them co-promote the game, making sure that their holders are rewarded for playing. These are all things that I think worked well. And I think they just remain so underrated, the NFT communities. Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious, from your perspective, like, have you seen people latch onto this concept of 3D for people that haven't had exposure to, the GLB or VRM world? Like, have people seen this and had like an oh crap moment, like this is what's next?
Yeah, I think we see a lot of people who have never done 3D stuff who have started playing around with it, and so that's definitely there. And then there's been a bunch of enthusiasts who have been waiting for this. Right? There's also that type of person where they've been playing on platforms that maybe they weren't fully happy with. They've been waiting for something that feels a bit more fun, and suddenly they're like, okay, I've been unleashed. I'm gonna create a ton of 3D assets. And I think it's been about 20,000 assets that have been created in the marketplace in the past.
Wow.
Since the 18th in the evening.
That is crazy.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. And I think, what are we at? 22,000 islands? I'll have to check. But it's quite a lot of islands, almost 22,000 now. So yeah, there's some people who have really been waiting for this. There's some people who have never done it before and they're starting to. So those are both good things.
They are indeed. And just an update, I seem to be back into the world, so I'm happy to start by sharing my screen, or I don't know if we should meet somewhere. What do you think, Charles?
Oh, I'm down to hang. Let's do it. So yeah, we had a classic. This is why Wave 1 is restrictive. Is you get to be in hell with us as we sort out lots of ridiculous, obscure edge cases. And so yeah, let me launch mine as well. We can meet up somewhere.
And Bid, I'm just gonna share my screen if that's cool.
Yeah, that's all good. You've probably got better internet than I do, so
see if this
I can hear waves in the background, so I guess I'm in. I've only got one screen today, so.
Are you able to pin my? Oh, maybe I can do that. Can I pin the share screen to our video?
Yeah, so you should be able to do it, but just click add to stage. I'll do it now.
Okay.
There we go.
Great.
Cool.
I'm hopping in too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you said, like with that amount of worlds, there must be a ton of crazy content coming out. People learning to build worlds for the first time, people, really experimenting with this technology. What's kind of the craziest stuff that you've seen coming out of the community thus far?
Oh man, there's so much. I mean, that has been like the thing that's really exceeded my expectation, is just how much people love to build and how far some will go. I mean, there's a bunch. Like, I think a kid called Beast Community's gone really hard, and there's like a Beast Mount Rushmore now in the game. I think there's actually a couple of them, so that's kind of cool to see.
Okay,
that's sweet. I think I hopped on the island you're on right now.
Oh, you did? Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yep. You're down the bottom. I'm going to come down and find you.
Okay.
There you are. It's me.
How do I get to you guys?
Now what is the island?
Pudgy Gaming we're on right now.
Yes. So actually, I'm going to copy that island link and I'm going to send it to you, and then we can go from there. So you should just be able to click on that, send it to you via Discord. But yeah, there we go. We got
Hell yeah.
Sappy Seals around the place getting involved. No, it's great. I mean, it's like, there are a lot of other virtual worlds that, have been built to support avatars and PFP collections, with, the VRM files associated with it. But I really haven't seen anything of this scale yet, in terms of worlds.
By the way, if you press Y, if you want to fight with us, you can. Yep, there we go. Cool. Just to distract you and make it harder to ask questions.
Amazing, yeah, because that's exactly what I need. I'm in these spaces a lot, and it's done so much as kind of like a force multiplier for the community, for people who've been dedicating time to either building out worlds or getting to learn Blender and this, that, and the other. So I really appreciate the work that's been done thus far.
Thank you.
We're so early, so that's great. And I mean, I'm kind of curious from more of a technical side of things as I try to juggle everything here.
I got to make it hard for you. I'm sorry.
Right. No, that's what the metaverse is about. The process in terms of getting people familiar with things like VRM files, things like 3D assets, Blender, this, that, and the other. How have you kind of gone about on-ramping people to all of this?
Yeah. So the thing we've done on the 3D asset side really has been to take the view like, hey, people should make the assets however they want to make them, and our job is just to be the best at ingesting those assets. So for us, it's not. Oh wow, that's it. Okay. And so what we're seeing is people using Blender. We're seeing people use new AI tools. Just the other day, someone posted about using Luma to create game-ready assets. Really? Yeah. So that's cool. So they're uploading those. And for us, we just want to be really good at ingesting them, which keeps things. Because in the end, like it's a whole other mission to be the best at creating the assets. And in the end, people want to build all kinds of different stuff. So we just want it to be where no matter what you make, you can always bring it to Nifty. So that's been the view there. And then really it's like a community effort. Like people are making stuff, people are showing each other what to do, people are tweeting about it. And what you'll see from us too is the marketplace is going to get fleshed out a lot. Like we really think this can be a moment, a lot like what OpenSea did for digital art, you're going to see happen with game ready art. We hope that's the goal. So, so that's sort of that's what we're doing on that side of things.
Amazing. And I mean, this is more of probably a selfish question to ask, but and if you can go into it at all, but like in terms of, having people or collections that don't have VRM files, like I saw the mods kids, their collections in here, but I know they only have GLB assets. Is that kind of what you're referring to in terms of like whatever assets you have will make them work, and like how is that conversion process happening, or what's really the baseline process, baseline file format that you're using on that end?
Yeah. So we accept a really broad array of file types. So we view it as like people want to make what they want to make, and we could talk about the benefits of VRM or other standards, and we like VRM a lot. But if people want to make GLB or FBXs, we'll take them. So really, we accept a very broad array of file types, and we have lots of projects that are doing FBX files or GLBs. Yeah.
Amazing. And I mean, in terms of, again, this is day one of things, but is there anything based off the early, what you've seen the community build and what you've seen people respond positively to? Is there any insight as that you can share as to what you're working on currently?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a bunch, and I try to be really transparent, honestly, because like I feel there's been too many projects, especially with like metaversey things, where it's like kind of all mystery. And I just want people to know, like, hey, I'm actually the least mysterious guy in this space. You know what I'm doing constantly. I'll tell you what we're working on all the time. If you want to hear about it, no pressure. But yeah, I basically, what we're working on right now is a bunch of stuff, new game modes, tons of stability fixes. I mean, the game obviously has some rough edges, and there's a lot to be polished out there that you just can't really discover until you're live. So a lot of polish, new game modes, improvements to how islands are shared, such that it's a lot easier to get foot traffic and visitors to your island. That's really critical for us. If you make a cool island, we want you to have visitors come and check it out. So there's that. Refinements to marketplace. You're going to see a lot more like high effort drops coming through there, and more support for creators who really want to go ham on it. It's kind of in its chaos era right now, the marketplace, so we got to get it into its more curated way. So got that stuff coming. Yeah, and then there's longer term stuff, but that's kind of some of the things we're working on right now.
For sure. I can imagine that curation process must be a very hard one to figure out. I've seen some of the stuff that gets uploaded there, and which is fair. Like it's very early days, and I think that yeah. Oh man, it's just so tough to concentrate and play.
Yeah, this is good, right? This is a real. We're flexing our brains.
I've got such FOMO. It just keeps taking me to my island.
It should be what's the island name? It's the I believe it's in the featured section.
Pudgy Gaming. It's all good. Yeah. I'll let you guys battle it out.
Okay. We'll chat offline. We'll figure it out.
Cool. And one thing that comes to mind as I was looking through a couple of things this morning, as far as the airdrop goes, like what's firstly, you kind of created a curation list of different different communities and different NFT ownership that would be accepted for the airdrop. You know, I again do a lot of stuff in this space. I was very surprised to see how many collections I had just going in the first time that made me eligible. But how did that selection process come about, and what was your thinking there?
Yeah, so this was a bit of an undertaking, and it was fun. It was cool I think it's worked decently well. So the overall view here was, like, if you do a play to airdrop campaign, the biggest failure mode of it, and it might feel good for a couple months, it might be the easier path in the short term, is you put it out there and it just gets botted to hell. Not just bots, but people who have zero intention of playing your game in the long run, right? Like they just completely want to extract and they're just not interested in it on any level. And then suddenly you've spent this one-time resource on the wrong things. So our goal was to make it not only Sybil resistant, but also resistant to, like, we wanted to see people's revealed preferences. Like, okay, are you really about this stuff? Like, is this interesting to you? So we wanted it to be where it's a little bit more of an exclusive airdrop, while still letting in a good number of people. So we curated a list. Just honestly, some of it was like OpenSea top volume, projects we thought were cool, and then projects who work with us too would all get added. And so we tried to create this big list of projects, and we missed some probably. There'll be ones we'll add in the future, but okay, how'd I do? Third place, man, in my own game. Not great.
Oh man, that's truly embarrassing for me. No, and I think you've done a really good job in that selection process, because I see that there's so much alignment between what those communities have done in the past as well, with their dedication to 3D or gaming, this, that, and the other. So yeah, I just want to say I really appreciate the effort that's going into that, because I'm sure it was a heck of a process.
Appreciate you. Yeah, we've tried. Want to hop onto another island, by the way, just while we're
let's do it.
Cool. Let's see. I'm gonna find a new one, maybe I haven't seen before. Just have a look at what's going on here. Actually, let's go to one of my favorites. Actually, it doesn't even have anyone on it right now, but it's just such a great one. Do you see Iron Palm Port Tango on the featured page? If you press N, you'll see it in the bottom right corner. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Let's do it. It's just such a great island.
And I mean, like we've spoken to a couple of creators that have been building here and have been trying to do unique things with what's possible in the platform. Because I mean, for me, my favorite thing is seeing what people can creatively do under the limitations of what they have available. And I mean, what type of stuff have you seen that really, you never thought people could or would build something like that?
It's amazing. I mean, this is a great island we're hopping on right now where like the things I love seeing are all these emergent social behavior. Like if you see here, he's been hosting crazy competitions, like obstacle course stuff, and he's been doing it ahead of our quest system. So we're going to have a system for doing this, but Tango is such a mad lad that he couldn't help himself. He's already doing it. And so he has a big winners wall here. He's marked the historic winners. I've seen a lot of this, like a lot of really nice social stuff. Like there have been people who, if they like are really good on their island, they get added to like a kind of Hall of Fame wall, and stuff like that. Other things we saw, this is Tango again, but he added basically vehicles to the game in a way that like we didn't expect that you could do. And granted, it's purely cosmetic. It doesn't change the way the character moves, but I'll actually show you. I can equip it right now. Here it is. So like he created like a cart-based avatar. Where are you? Let me see.
I'm over the palm.
Yeah. So here we go. I'll just jump in front of you. There we go. So see me here. This is So he created these and created like a Mario type level, and it was just really funny. Like people just pushing so hard to make certain features happen.
Yeah.
You love to see that. It's really cool. I just bought this avatar from a cool artist. Let me check it out. Yep, this is my new look.
Oh, amazing! Got the spring bones and everything.
Oh yeah, this is nicely done. This is really nicely done. Yeah, I bought this.
Who's that from?
Oh God, let me remember the name. This is I'm kind of letting them down here. But I saw it on Twitter and I just bought it instantly. I was like, this is amazing. This is the kind of stuff we want to see more of, honestly.
So I mean, going based off of that, like the creators, when I do a hashtag VRM search on Twitter, like it's primarily Asian market plus VR chat communities that are talking about this stuff. But I looked yesterday and it's just Nifty Island, this, that, and the other. And it's amazing to see that. Have you kind of seen how have those creators kind of been coming into your lens, or like how are you personally getting exposure to these people that are building stuff? Is it just through seeing different listings in the marketplace and being like, this is cool, or people hopping into the Discord sharing?
It's very, so in this early stage of things, like and this is part of actually what, if you notice me getting kind of like paler and more gaunt over the coming months, this will be why. But it's very, there's a lot of manual stuff you got to do at the beginning where it's like totally new platform. We take it as like a privilege for anyone to care about it on any level, right? Like we put a lot of work into it, but you don't deserve any attention really. It's just like, if people like it, that's a blessing. And so for me, if you're a 3D artist and you do anything on the platform, I'm probably going to personally talk to you, or at least I'm going to try to. And so I talking to people manually. There's Emotional, awesome creator. I see him in the chat there. I've talked to him a good bit and really been loving seeing what he's been doing on the platform. But we have him on GameSpace in 2 hours from now, or just
less than that. 90 minutes.
90 minutes. There we go.
That'll be a good episode. Nice. So yeah, really, like it's pretty manual, and then we're trying to scale it up. Like we, putting together special servers where we can kind of connect artists, and kind of just trying to streamline systems where they see the marketplace as a bit of a no-brainer to create on. I think right now gaming UGC within NFTs is in a very unclear state where people don't really know what to drop and what people want to buy, right? It's like a really undefined market. So we're just going to try and make things more streamlined and easy for them. Working on it. Yeah, but basically, yeah, right now it's all a lot of stuff's manual. A lot of stuff involves me not sleeping or ever chilling, which is cool. I'm good with it,
Yeah, me too.
That's what coffee's for. That's what coffee's for.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I'm just going through avatar selection now, and like it's just being able to bring these into world and have them interact with like things like weapons. That must have been a really challenging task to do. If I compare this cyber broker's mech to this tubby, they're obviously very different structurally, in terms of size, in terms of the length of the arms, this, that, and the other. How did you go about figuring the, I guess, interoperability of game assets with each of these different avatar shapes, so to ensure that you could accommodate everything? Were you just kind of appending items to a bone, or is there something more complicated going on behind the scenes when you're doing that?
Yes, good question. So what I'm going to do, I will answer that. And I'm also going to say, let's hop over to 25B CTF Castle and just see what's going on. I haven't been to this island, so we got to go pay our respects, right? We gotta see what's going on there. You'll see it, 25B CTF Castle. Yeah, you see it on the popular seat.
Okay.
Top right.
Yes.
Top right. Yeah.
Oh, you got it, my man. So, okay. Yeah. So the avatar ingestion and stuff. This is there's a dev on our team. I like to keep all the devs, like, just because I'll take the kind of public facing stuff. I'd like to let them have their sanity, but he's very talented. He works with another dev on it. And we have a content pipeline that can ingest basically like a really crazy array of game ready assets. So that's pretty fun. And so with the avatars, basically we can take something in, and it can be kind of all kinds, like crazy array of polygon, like polygon count. It basically, and then we can process it and turn it into something that's game ready. And of course there's some restrictions on that, but we can take in a lot. And if it adheres to a standard humanoid rig, then we can adjust the size. We adjust the speed of the movement animations, so that, it kind of feels somewhat natural, so movement speed is standardized. And anyway, yeah, it's cool. I mean, that's just part of what the content pipeline does. But again, the goal is to be really good at ingesting all kinds of stuff. And it's kind of a fun one because we think with AI, like eventually there'll be an almost limitless number of assets. But what's kind of special is how good are you at like bringing them in? How good are you at ingesting things people made and incentivizing people to make cool stuff? So anyway, yeah, long-winded answer probably, but that's what's going on.
No, that's appreciated. And the leaderboard of different communities that you guys have, there's obviously been a race to kind of be at the top of that, and I'm very fortunate enough to be in a lot of those communities.
Nice.
But how have you found that has brought people into this environment? Like, I guess my baseline is that you've got a really good mechanism in place for repeat gameplay, for discoverability of the game as a whole, for competition, for retention. How has your initial thinking about that and strategizing for all that kind of played out? And have you seen the fruits of your labor in planning all of that and seeing it brought to life?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, much more to learn, much more to do, but being live, I have to say it's very underrated in crypto. Like, I'd highly recommend. I mean, put it out there and you're going to learn a hell of a lot. So I think the planning, it has worked well. I'll just say because I find this sort of a fun point. Something we learned, like we had a kind of aha moment around it, which is it's kind of obvious to people who make games, but it might not be as obvious to people who do crypto, right? And it was sort of that, like, games to drive retention rely on like lots of little rewards. Like, they're almost more Keynesian in nature, right? You need to be printing stuff. Like, you have to print stuff that's fun to get, and you can get it in large numbers. And that's what blooms are, right? Like, blooms are the Keynesian, like, money printer go burr, incentive system, right? Mm-hmm. But then crypto is like Austrian. It's more about scarce, valuable stuff, right? Like, people don't like when things are on chain and they're kind of like too abundant, right? Like, it just doesn't excite people in the same way. So So blooms are kind of like the Keynesian part of the system, and then island tokens like the hard money Austrian kind of side of it. And that bloom system took us a while to come up with, like in its current stage. There's a lot more we can build on top of it to make it more interesting, but blooms are sweet. That worked pretty well. And then daily challenges, I think, have worked fairly well, which is good to see, just sort of giving people a clear task to do each day. What else on the progression side? Yeah, I think that's it. And then the quest system is my biggest kind of favorite feature that we haven't really rolled out yet. So that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be
I think
great.
what I've really noticed with Nifty Island is that it's a game, but then there's gamification of every single point within that. And that's like, I think, where you're going to get the stickiness and the people coming back, because it's not just about going to an island, hanging out with their friends and doing a race. There's like sort of checkpoints and things to do like every single day on a different place. Like there's an incentive to go somewhere else, explore somewhere new, make friends. Like, yeah,
That's
I
a
think
great point.
that's just so awesome.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and I think what it's a really, you're getting at an important point there, which is basically like, I think a big problem with these open game world concepts is when you don't know what to do. You're kind of drifting around in this world, and you're like, what the hell do I do here? And so that was one of our like top things that we were trying to prevent, was like that kind of floating around like a ghost experience, right? Where you're sort of like, what do I do here? Like I can't build any. Like there are some game worlds, I'm not going to call out any specifically, but like where you can't really build anything, and it's not clear what the game is, and it's not clear what your goal is as a user. And so to me, like what makes a game fun is it's its own world where you can have an effect in real time, much more than you can in the real world, way more, right? Like, and on top of that, it's also less ambiguous than the real world in some ways, right? Like you have a clear purpose. There's like a mission. You can pick up blooms. Like, it's sweet, right? And like some game worlds are almost more ambiguous than the real world, which I'm like sort of like, okay, that might be a bad thing. You kind of like, the goal is to make something that's more satisfying and clear cut while still being open and creative. So anyway, yeah, appreciate it. It's really hard to get right. I'll say, Jesus, it's but
it's that constant learning, and like you say, being live, getting that feedback. Because if you spend too long kind of building something that the ins and outs of it, the nuances, that subconsciously you're going to avoid doing things that might break something. Whereas if you put it out in the open, you're going to get that feedback, and that's such a crucial part of Web3 as well, as the community side of things, making people feel like they're involved. And even if that is giving feedback, letting people in early, getting the blooms, like it's huge that you have that live feedback from these people, because it adds value to them as well as to you.
Yeah, no, well said. It's that's part of it. Is like, I think a big problem with crypto is that projects will end up having these like big valuable assets that exist before a product launch, like a token or land. And what happens is they get really scared to fail. Like they get like really afraid that if they put something out there in some imperfect form, people will FUD them, and they can't really iterate. So they're in this position where you can't take risks, and that's sort of the death of creativity, right? So one of the things that I'm glad we did that I think has made this possible is nobody's sitting there holding like a bunch of island token they bought in some pre-sale and saying like, Charlie, if this game's not perfect right now, I'm gonna brigade your Discord and like fudge you on Twitter.
I've never understood that mindset, by the way, of I've bought all of these tokens and you haven't done what I want, so I'm going to FUD everything and send my own tokens to zero.
Right. Yeah, it's a jungle out there, and I guess on the other hand, it's like the thing I do get is like, on some level, people want revenge for things, and there are some projects who have just taken in so much capital and provided so little that like I see why people almost hate them on like a sort of like righteous anger level, and so for me, the way we view it is I'm like we haven't asked anyone to buy any Nifty Island asset. If they want to buy a Palm, they can, but we've given them away for free, so never have they bought them from us. So we want to be in a position where we have what the community gives us is they say, hey, we're down to engage. We're down to give you feedback. We're down to teach you how to make a good game. We appreciate the hell out of that. And then on our end, we're just saying, hey, you're going to earn some cool assets by playing this game. and we're going to learn how to make a great game together. Because obviously, like, there are little things in Nifty where, like, if it was other side and they launched and someone was like, oh, like the server crashed today, people would be like fudding the hell out of it. With us, I'm just sort of like, hey, welcome to the trenches. Like, this is how this shit goes. Like, if you're interested in the ride, like come along. If you don't, then play it in, a month or two, and it'll be way smoother. But the good news is a lot of people in crypto love being in the trenches. They love working with weird products. That's why I love this subculture. I just think it's so much different than the rest of the internet.
It's so true. Like just going from just thinking of just using a MetaMask, right? That in itself is so clunky compared to opening up Robinhood or like whatever other app it is. So I think you're entirely right. There is that mindset of, hey, I'm early. This is going to be a bit clunky, a bit janky, but like I'm going to figure it out because I think it's also a bit like everyone in the space wants it to succeed as well.
Right.
So they're happy to jump in and give that feedback because it helps everyone.
Right. No, I think you're right. I think that's it. Oh, I don't know if I should jump on this island. I think they want it to be secret, but I'm seeing some project stuff getting built. Interesting. There's alpha in here. But yeah, no, totally. That is exactly it. Like it's that's what's so cool about like early Ethereum and early Bitcoin is like giant mission. And like even today, but 5 years ago or 10 years ago, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, didn't really look like they could achieve their goal, but there were a lot of people who wanted that to happen. And so that makes it possible, right? And I see it the same way with this game world is if we do our job right, people should feel like, this is their game world and they want to see it succeed. If Fortnite failed, like, would we be upset about it? Like kind of, but like not really. Whereas with this, I want it to be that people are like, hey, this is our game world. And sure, there may be a bug here or a crash here, but if we work together, we can make it something really fun. And that's exactly what crypto is at its best. It's people with a big audacious goal, and it's people coming together on the internet and saying, that sounds nearly impossible, but we're going to try anyway, kind of as a collective. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it all loops back to community, right? If you just released a game and said, hey, pay me $50 and you'll be able to play this version, and in a year's time, we're going to release a new one and you're going to pay me another $50.
Right.
They then become consumers. Like they're not part of that mission. They're not part of the community. And I think that you guys are doing such an amazing job of building that, like your community sentiment through everything, even like bear market, some delays, like the overall sentiment has just been really positive. And that's a testament to you guys and your team.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we've been lucky. Like our early crew is phenomenal, and it's wild how different like the trajectory of this project has been. And I'm really impressed by people sticking with us because it's like we've had a bunch of people who have held legendary palms. Some of them like holding them. Imagine you're holding it for like 2 years, and we're working on this game, and like they're sticking around, like helping us iterate on it for a really long time, and that's pretty amazing and commendable on their part. So yeah, we're appreciative for that early core. And then it's really nice to see that group grow, right? Where there's all these people that have been waiting for something like this. And we really are trying our best to like deliver what I think they've been waiting for. At least over time, we'll get there. I think we have a good start. But yeah, no, the community is amazing. It's like the espresso shop for me is getting to talk to them and just hearing the passion is great.
I think just expanding on the community side of things, like what you've done really well that no one else that I've seen anyway has kind of really achieved was your go-to-market strategy. Like, let's build our community around other people's communities.
Right.
Because you onboard the Bored Apes, you've got, well, not 10,000, but you've got 10,000 potential community members. You onboard Kampai Pandas, you've got 10,000 potential community members. And all of those people within those communities are coming from that NFT side of things where they want to see success. They want to see utility or additional utility in what they've got. So then you bring them into your game world and they've got their avatar, their PFP, their sort of online persona that comes with them. And I think like that's super cool. I need to get my panda in there.
That your panda's ready for you. So I mean, we have a base avatar for the Kampai, and I saw they were streaming the game from their main account the other week.
Yeah,
which was cool to see. But yeah, no, you're totally right. And funnily enough, it's it's actually one of the ideas we had that I think I've received the most skepticism about, like over the course of like the bear market and stuff. Like it's like, you know, you talk to someone like, you're still building that game world for all the NFT communities, which are all dead, and also like, you know, they just want to build their own games. Like there were so many different ways that people could feel that strategy wasn't going to work. It was like either, oh, it's too complicated, or oh, like you should build your own IP, like that's where the money is, like build your own IP, or it's like, you know, oh, they're all going to build their own metaverse, like, you know, that's that. And so there were all these stories that kind of ran counter to it, but we, you know, we stuck to our guns on that and really thought like, nope, this makes sense. And also, while on paper everyone's building the metaverse, in practice, literally nobody is, pretty much, you know what I mean, or like almost no one like is shipping with it, right? So, So yeah, it's been interesting. That was I think it was one of our most bold like bets. We really kind of like bought the bottom on, you know, servicing other communities. A lot of people were not super excited to be doing that during the bear, but these communities are absolutely amazing. So it's we never doubted it, but it was
I think a lot of people kind of based you know, NFTs are dead on trading volume, not on Discord activity, not on like what the community are actually doing like within themselves. So I think, yeah, you've really tapped into that and given them a reason to come to you as well. It's like, hey, we believed in you, like, or we believe in you, and they're like, wow, there's someone out there that believes in what we're doing. Like, let's jump in, let's go have some fun.
Right. And I think I appreciate that. And I think too, another thing is like people who are the founders of NFT projects, like do not get enough credit, in my opinion. And some of them, obviously some people have fumbled the bag a little bit and like maybe not made all the right moves, but you know, that happens. But for the most part, like the thing that was amazing to us during the bear market was like, people were like, NFTs are dead. And then we were looking at it and saying, we have a group chat with literally every major NFT project, and none of them were going anywhere. You know, like maybe some of them are like, you know, like maybe not able to marshal the capital to do something as ambitious as what they wanted to do before. But there's very few like major projects or even medium, like kind of medium-sized projects that went anywhere. Even a lot of small projects, like they're still around, like they're not dead. So that was what was interesting to see. It was like there was this narrative around it all being dead, but then if you were just in the mix, you were like, literally everybody, like there's still the hardcore of people here. They haven't gone anywhere. So that was interesting. That was yeah.
And I've got a question that's kind of tangential, but you know, you've obviously got thousands of players playing in this world, in these worlds. Do you have any stats on like hours played that you're tracking, or you know, the actual hardcore gamers that are spending hours and hours a day in there? Are you tracking any of that?
We are, yeah. And off the top of my head, there are certain metrics that are like kind of really on my mind, which are like things like DAUs, and it's like a few thousand every day pretty consistently. So we've had days where it's like 6,000, which is really great. We've had days where it's probably around the 3K mark. We've had days in between. So it's kind of in that range right now. So there's much more to do to grow it, but it's like a nice start. It's definitely it feels like a good start in terms of usage. And crypto's a small space, so oh, wow, I'm on this other island. It's pretty nice. So that's been good. And then, as I said, it's about almost 22,000 islands that have been made. So that's cool. Retention stats are strong. I'd have to get the most up-to-date ones just to make sure it's what I'm saying is accurate. But retention has been strong. And then trying to think what other good ones would be. Interesting ones for us are like how many hours particular islands generate in terms of player hours. And some of the top ones have generated a lot. Like, I mean, I think Spotty has generated like 500 hours plus of like user playtime on his island, you know, and that kind of stuff's really cool to see because there haven't been that many days since launch. So
yeah, that's right.
It's like, it feels like it's been a year to me at this point, but it's actually only been it's been less than a month since we went live, which is kind of hilarious. But it feels like it's been a year, but but yeah, like that kind of stuff's really cool to see. And yeah, I think we have some players who are really hardcore, and then qualitatively, the sort of stuff I love to see is like, you've got a great example is another MFer, is a like MFer community, like kind of community creator And he started streaming. He'd never streamed before, and now he's streaming Nifty pretty regularly. He made MF for HQ and has generated a ton of player hours on that island and signed up a lot of people in collaboration with Here's My, who made all the MF for avatars and got him in game. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of spewing a bunch of stuff, but these are some of the things that are on my mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, as a kind of result of what, oh my God, I cannot multitask. As a result of what, okay, I'm stopping. As a result of the, I just completely lost that question. I'm gonna keep playing, and I'm sure it will come back. But yeah, no, I mean, there we go, got it. As a result of what you have been kind of doing in building your own community within the different communities, has there been like any organic socializing or I guess social activity that's happening within game that you may not have expected?
Yeah, so some of it I probably should have expected, but didn't see it coming as much. People have been doing the DJ sets in game. It was something we didn't know if people would want to do that much. We knew some other platforms had focused on it pretty heavily. We weren't sure how much people wanted that or not. Those have already happened. So like DJ Tracks, DJ Jagman, Spotty, they've all, I think, done live music in the game. And some
how are they streaming that music through?
So there's a couple options. The option I like, just because it's sort of, higher quality right now, at least, but this is just my preference, is that you can upload music NFTs into the game. So we read them automatically for the most part. And then the other thing you can do is you can create music NFTs through the marketplace. And so people can kind of select a soundtrack for the island that everyone hears. So that's kind of cool. But the other thing they're doing, which is the more like thing where I'm like, damn, we need to build some more features, is they're streaming it through voice chat. So like that is a bold move. That's a bold move. But they're doing it and it seems to be working. So yeah, but that was surprising. Other stuff that's cool. I mean, like there's Discord servers that have popped up around this. There's a Bloom Squad, Nifty Gang. There's a couple that are kind of like doing regular meetups to play and drive engagement to people's islands. So that's been cool to see. And then the last thing I'll say that we've seen that was kind of expected, but I'm glad because we put a lot of work into this. So it's nice that people are doing it. Tons of front running of our quest feature. So like people love prizes and giveaways and competitions for NFTs. Like they love it. And I like it too. So that, and so we've seen tons of like obstacle course competition for money. Hey, you'll get a whitelist spot for my new NFT drop if you do this in the game. And this has always been to me like one of the killer features is like, people want to give away cool NFTs, but giving away NFTs or like competitions around them end up being these like soulless Twitter giveaways where bots just like steal everything. And
like, share, retweet, tag 3 friends, and then
exactly.
You go on their profile and it's just giveaway.
Dude, you know it. Yeah. So we're trying to add to like really improve that experience. So and people have been front running it, which is great because we will have the full quest system rollout pretty soon. You'll see another quest from us maybe as soon as today.
Is that going to be sort of like open source? Like you can add your quest into it within a framework, or is that more like Nifty Island quests? So
first there'll be Nifty Island quests because what we don't want is if it breaks, I want to lose our stuff. I don't want someone to lose their stuff. So we're rolling it out in phases. First, it's going to be us. And so what you've seen is we started with a small quest with lightweight rewards. We're doing a slightly bigger quest with more heavy rewards soon. Then we're going to do a quest that's even bigger with like really valuable rewards. And then we'll add a few quest types. We'll test those, and then we'll open it up to everybody. And then you'll be able to come and say, hey, I have an island. I'm giving away whitelist spots for my new NFT drop. And if you are at the top of the leaderboard here, by this end of this time, you're going to get some spots. And so it will be completely open to everyone in the not so distant future at all. It won't take too long. Yeah,
that's rad. And on the like, say you're giving away NFT sides of things, would they put NFTs into like escrow with you, and then it's like a guaranteed like the winner's going to get it kind of thing?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's an escrow
Awesome.
contract that is essentially, the escrow contract is kind of like not super intelligent. It just listens to the game, basically.
Yeah.
And the game says, hey, these are the people who should be able to claim out of this escrow contract. And yeah, so it's fun. It's enjoyable because like what I find so fun about this use case, having been in crypto for a long time, is how pragmatic it all is. Like, you know, you could imagine some really clever escrow contract and you could imagine lots of game state being on chain. And I'm for that. Like, I think that'd be cool in the long run. But if you just use this stuff in a really pragmatic, like no nonsense way, there's a ton of stuff you can do today. Like, you don't have to wait on some breakthrough in the blockchain. You can just say, hey, what if we had a really dumb escrow contract that just listens to the game and does what it says? It's like, oh, then you'd have an open, flexible prize system. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we don't have to wait for like people to figure out like how to put game state on chain to do that. You know, we can use that when it comes along, but you know, you just don't need it to get started.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, and it brings a lot of trust into these giveaways as well. Like, firstly, the people that are doing them have actually put some effort in. They haven't just run a bot to retweet some stuff. So you know they're probably invested at least in the crypto space and aren't just going to take it. Well, they might take it and sell it, but that's fine. But like, they're not just going through and trying to find things of value that they might win.
Right.
They're adding some value to the game, to the creator, to everything. But then also on the flip side of that, you know that it's fair and open. Like, you've placed in the top 3 positions, you're getting the NFT, and that's transparent and open to everyone. It's not, hey, I completed this competition. Oh, that's weird. You both follow each other, and this person won. Like, it's it avoids all of that. And also then from having run competitions on that side of things, it means that the NFT or the tokens, whatever it is, goes to the right person without me having to manually go in, double check that the person that's DM'd me is the actual winner.
Yes, you have a spreadsheet, you got a Google sheet ready, or it's pretty hellish right now to do stuff. Yeah, no, that's well said. Yeah, that's well said. So it's really easy.
As soon as you announce the winner, it's like, oh, someone's just DM'd you. And it's like, and I've never been caught out because I always, like, when the post that announces the winner, I always go to their profile and then DM them. So if they respond to me, they're the winner. Little tip for anyone listening in. But you just get so many DMs where someone's just changed their handle and you go on their profile and you double check it. And it's like, just scammers. And this, even a simple escrow contract just stops all of that. I think is brilliant.
Love it, man. Yeah, no, you're right. And it's, and what you're going to see from us is, like, as that quest system rolls out, like, really taking seriously, like, the fairness of the competitions. We've seen people do their own competitions in Nifty, and there have been, like, some little, like, problems and stuff with that because it's the Wild West right now. Like, people aren't using our system. They're just doing it on their own. But we really are just going to try to be the most fair and fun place to give away prizes, you know, of any game. And what makes me so excited about that use case is if you look at Fortnite or Minecraft or Roblox, there's lots of nascent user behavior around dueling and people wanting to play for consequential prizes that are worth money. Like, it exists on all these platforms. Like, it's not it's known behavior that users like, but all these platforms discourage it basically because they don't want to be, like, you know, they don't want to be involved in this sort of financially consequential stuff at all. And they're not leveraging crypto, which means if there were wagering and stuff in game, like, they would be directly facilitating it. And so I think it's like, when we look at how we can make a game world where it's the only place you can enjoy a certain type of experience, I think prize-based play is, like, a killer feature for Web3 gaming. Like it's like, look at Dookie Dash, right? Like, if we can have, like, a Dookie Dash occurring in Nifty Island, like, every week, something, like, really big, like, it will be the only game world that you can really experience that, because Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox just doesn't really have that, doesn't really exist. And I don't think it will anytime soon. I could be wrong, but yeah.
I'd agree with you on that front. But more from, like, the technical level, like, looking at it from like, this is on-chain activity that's happened, therefore this is gospel. Whereas if you have a closed system like Fortnite, Roblox, people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So there has to be a huge amount of trust in those systems, and they have to bear a huge amount of trust as well. Whereas when you got the blockchain involved, kind of does that for you. So it allows you to much more confidently know that there's not someone in your back end of a system skewing the numbers, putting their friend up there and all of that, because it's open, it's public.
Yes, definitely. Like, I think there's a lot we could do over time to put more game state. If it's not on chain, at least making it like publicly readable. So I think that's a fun one. That's something we've talked about internally, is like, how could we make the game like the most reliable oracle that it can be? It's sort of something we're going to be looking at. Oh, okay. Someone wants to duel me.
Right, I think we should wrap up there, because I know you originally you said you had like 30
I know, I was enjoying it too much. You guys were too fun to
we were just having such a great time. This is awesome. I'm so glad that we managed to stream as well. Like, this has been fantastic. And Charles, it's always a pleasure. Absolutely love watching the Nifty Island journey. The difference between like the original beta version that I had access to and this is just night and day. It's insane.
Thank you.
And just a lot of credit goes to you and the team for building this out, for being a force multiplier, for a lot of exposure to what can be done with 3D and the intersection of 3D and Web3. So congrats for all the hard work that you guys have put in. It's really paid off. Greatly
appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys having me. This has been a lot of fun, and you guys totally get it, which makes the conversation much more fun. So I love that. And I'll say basically with this, like, we've had a really good start. And what I always want to emphasize to people is, like, we don't sit here and think like, hey, we've done it, like, hooray. Like, our view is completely on, like, we need to improve this thing. I look at it and see what's broken. I look at it and see what isn't as good as it could be yet. So basically, like, if people are excited about being a part of the project in any way, small or big, like, we want people to be involved, and we want this to be a game world that we build together. So, like, if you look at it and you see things that are wrong with it today, look at it and see it as an opportunity for anyone watching. You know, like, that's how we want to approach this. It's not about the team is, smart and making stuff. Like, sure, like, we do what we can, but it's like, it really has to be a collective venture here. It has to be something where we build it together. So hopefully that happens.
Awesome. Well, Charles, thank you so much. If you're not already, I'll pop it up on the screen again. Make sure you follow Nifty Island. Make sure you follow Open MetaDAO. Charles 3's the 7th.
That's me. Oh yeah, well, I am the 7th technically. Yeah. That's a story for another time.
Yeah, we'll get you back on for that one. It's Meta Mike, myself, Beard on the Block. Follow us all on Twitter. And coming up in 55 minutes, we have Emotional, who has been watching this. He says, we love the Charles. So yeah, stoked for that one. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, thank you so much for coming back on. This has been awesome. And you're doing fantastic work.
Likewise. Yeah, no, we'll be doing a lot more of these. This has been very fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, guys.